Scrum Masters Elite_UK in-depth insights into rugby, All Blacks tactics, and the spirit of elite competition. Subscribe to the channel.
When a new head coach like Dave Rennie steps into the leadership role of the All Blacks, I think the pressure he faces is extremely significant. The All Blacks are not an ordinary team. They are a symbol of world rugby, where every personnel decision is closely scrutinized by fans and experts alike. Therefore, choosing who will wear the number 12 jersey, a position that is extremely important in tactical structure, is not based solely on form but also on the overall balance of the squad. What I find most interesting is the number of talented players competing for this position. Names like Jordie Barrett, Timoci Tavatavanawai, Quinn Tupaea, and David Havili are all players with their own distinct styles and strengths. When I think about it, I feel that this is both a headache for the coaching staff and, at the same time, a very positive sign of the All Blacks squad depth. In elite sport, perhaps the most worrying thing for a team is not a lack of talent, but a lack of internal competition. When a position has only one option, development can sometimes slow down.
But when several talented players compete for the same role, each of them is forced to work harder every week and every match to prove their value. I believe this competitive environment has contributed to the traditional strength of the All Blacks for many decades. When talking about the candidates, I pay particular attention to the case of Jordie Barrett. In the past, he served as vice-captain of the All Blacks under head coach Scott Robertson. That shows he not only has professional ability but also leadership qualities. I think that in a major national team, factors such as experience, command, and consistency can sometimes be just as important as individual skill. However, what impresses me even more is the rise of energetic young players like Timoci Tavatavanawai and Quinn Tupaea. When I hear comments from former World Cup winning All Blacks player Stephen Donald, it is clear that these players are not just performing well in a few matches, they are maintaining consistent form week after week. From my perspective, Tavatavanawai is the kind of player who brings very powerful energy.
His ability to contest for the ball, especially out wide, is extremely important in modern rugby. When a player can win the ball back in difficult situations, it doesn't just change the tempo of the game, it also creates psychological momentum for the whole team. I also really like the way Stephen Donald described watching the Highlanders play. Sometimes it feels as though you are watching a standout player whose influence covers the entire match. This reminds me of Ardie Savea when he plays for Moana Pacifica. There are players whose presence almost defines the entire playing style of a team. For me, that is the sign of a special player. It is not only about technique but also about influence. A player like that can make the audience follow every single touch of the ball. Meanwhile, Quinn Tupaea gives me a different impression. If Tavatavanawai represents power and explosiveness, Tupaea seems to be a harmonious combination of strength and skill. I strongly agree with the idea that Tupaea is like a blend of different playing styles.
A player who can run powerfully, break defensive lines, yet still maintain strong passing skills and good game reading is extremely valuable in modern rugby. I think players like that usually provide coaches with more tactical options. One detail that makes me think quite a lot is that Tupaea has also performed well at the number 13 position. This shows his versatility as a player. In modern professional sport, the ability to play multiple positions can become a very significant advantage. I believe this versatility will force the coaching staff to think very carefully. A player who can perform well at both 12 and 13 makes the team more flexible in major matches. In addition, when mentioning other names like Proctor, I realize even more how impressive the depth of the All Blacks squad is in the midfield area. I think this is a kind of luxury that not many national teams in the world possess. At the same time, however, it also brings a very human aspect to sport. When there are many talented players, there will always be some who deserve selection but still miss out. That can be very difficult for them personally.
The first lesson I take from this is that competition is unavoidable in any field of life. In sports, work, or study, there will always be other talented people striving for the same goals. Instead of fearing competition, we should see it as motivation for growth. The second lesson is that consistency is just as important as brilliance. A player may shine in one match, but what earns long-term trust is the ability to maintain form across many weeks and seasons. The third lesson is for fans to view sport in a fair and objective way. Sometimes we love a particular player and want to see him on the field all the time. But in reality, coaches must make decisions based on the overall interests of the team. If we understand that, I think we will watch sport with greater respect for both the players and the coaching staff. From my perspective, this is not only a lesson for sport but also a lesson for every organization, every nation, and even for humanity as a whole. When we encourage talent, create healthy competition, and respect the effort of each individual, we build stronger collectives. And for me personally, when I look at the competition for the All Blacks number 12 jersey, I do not only see players fighting for a place in the lineup. I see individuals striving every day to become better, and that spirit is the greatest value that sport brings to the world.
From Masters Elite _UK, thanks you for following. Competition creates strength, spirit creates the All Blacks legend. See you again.